Oh my god, hey! Welcome back to my stagey YouTube channel. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Mickey Joe and I am obsessed with all things theatre. Recently, I got to go to a really exciting one-night-only musical performed in concert. I am talking about Gypsy, produced by Alex Parker and Quick Fantastic, with 7 different actresses playing the role of Mama Rose. This is one of the shows that I told you previously I was looking forward to in 2022, and it absolutely did not disappoint. So if you don't know Gypsy, this is a real staple of classic golden age Broadway musical theatre. It was written by Arthur Lawrence and Julie Stein, and Stephen Sondheim wrote the lyrics. The original Rose on Broadway was Ethel Merman. Subsequently, Rose has been played by Angela Lansbury, Tyne Daly, Imelda Staunton recently in London. Bernadette Peters and Patti LuPone both played her to tremendous acclaim on Broadway. To this day, there has been enormous unrest between communities of gay men about which was the better Rose on Broadway. This show has been parodied and referenced a lot in popular culture. You may have seen the songs on Glee. I feel like the first time I ever heard Rose's Turn was because Chris Colfer sang it on Glee. I'm not proud of that, but it happened and I have to accept it. It's also generally considered to be one of the great, if not the greatest, roles for an actress in musical theatre. So the entire conceit of this concert production was that 7 different actresses, a whole variety of actresses, would be sharing the role of Rose over the course of the concert. And I'm going to be letting you know today what I thought of all 7 of those performances. Stay tuned, we have a lot of roses to get through. This was my first time at the Alexandra Palace Theatre. It's a walk, let me tell you, but it is a lovely auditorium inside. All of this exposed brick, it's all very rustic, lovely big foyer area, just really atmospheric and a really special venue with a lot of inherent majesty to it. I was immediately thinking there's so many great shows that I would love to see staged in this venue. If someone wants to do a site-specific revival of Follies with this kind of dilapidated interior, I wouldn't be mad about it. I realized as I was going there, this was my first kind of full Sondheim production I'd seen in a very long time, and certainly since Stephen Sondheim passed away last year, so it was really special to be able to go and just drink in all of the lyrics and his genius. The orchestra, of course, sounded fantastic. I loved Alex Parker's little wiggly dance he did while conducting the overture. The Gypsy overture may be the best overture in the history of musical theatre. The staging was fantastic. It was a fully staged production, no script in hand here, no music stands. We were dancing, we were walking around, we had costumes, we had lighting, we had everything. I will say there are moments where like there were no props, and there were moments where like you could have got a prop, because there were a couple of things that they absolutely needed. Like when she sings Little Lamb, when Louise sings Little Lamb, she had a lamb. Not a real lamb, not an actual, not a live lamb. Can you imagine the risk assessment? But there were other parts of the show where like someone gives her a baseball glove and she's like, wow, I love it, just with the air. I'm like, you could find a baseball glove. Someone could go and get a baseball glove. Go ask Dear Evan Hansen, I bet they have spares. The choreography was amazing. The supporting cast were phenomenal. I particularly want to shout out Laura Pitt-Pulford, who was just sublime as Louise. This is such a great Laura Pitt-Pulford role. When she was cast in this, I thought, has she already played this? Because she makes such perfect sense for this role. She was just wonderful as that sort of awkward younger version of the character, and then as she matured into the burlesque star that she becomes, she was just heavenly. Just sounded fantastic. Carly Mercedes Dyer was ingeniously good as Baby/Dainty June. She was just like Toddlers and Tiaras insanity to the max. I think my favorite Carly Mercedes Dyer is when she gets to be high energy with a crazy smile on her face and kicking and turning and belting, and it was just everything I want from her, and she was so perfectly cast in this role. She was hilarious. Now, let's talk about the roses. So we started with Samantha Spiro, and I'm a huge Samantha Spiro fan. I've loved her since I saw her in the Merrily We Roll Along concert. When I went to see this concert, I had just finished watching Sex Education Series 3 on Netflix. She's fantastic in that, so I was really hyped to see her in this. She was probably the Rose I was most looking forward to. And she got to start the show. Now, I had guessed where some of them might be, and based on my predictions, I was assuming this was the slot that she would get, because who else are you going to have carrying that dog into the theatre saying, "Sing out, Louise," if not Samantha Spiro? That's such a perfect part for her. I was really hoping she would stay on until Some People, and she did. She got to sing Some People, my favourite part of which is when she does her first "I had a dream, get yourself some new orchestrations," and she kind of leans forward and hunches in her chair and does this like funny old man voice that she's doing while she's telling you about her dream. It was amazing. And then she optioned up at the end. She gave us a "But Not a Rose," which I have loved ever since Angela Lansbury put it in. in. But Samantha was great. She really set the tone with this presence that she had. I'm ready to see an entire Gypsy revival with her as Rose because I loved her so much as the character. I didn't want her to leave. But then she did, and she was replaced by Nicola Hughes. Now, Nicola, I've seen her before in Fairview. I've never heard her sing before. She had a wonderful voice. She came in as this very sultry Madame Rose. She got to play the first meeting with Herbie, played wonderfully by Christopher Howell, and she was just so seductive and so sultry about it. I loved everything about her. She looked phenomenal. All of the costuming was really, really great, and I loved the way they all had slight variations on the same wig and the same dress that kind of flattered each of them and accentuated where Rose was at that point in her life. Next up was Melanie La Barrie. Melanie La Barrie you might know from And Juliet. She plays the nurse. She's an icon. Let's get it straight. Melanie got to do the scene where it's Louise's birthday and she sings Have an Egg Roll, Mr. Goldstone. It's very high energy, very manic, and just the perfect choice for Melanie La Barrie as Rose in this show. That was another one I thought immediately, obviously she's going to be doing that part. She was hilarious. We know that she is an incredible, incredible comic actress. She also sounded fantastic and the energy that she put into it. And it was nice getting to see sort of a more aggressive side to her. You know, she's sort of very amenable in performances I've seen her do before, but it was nice seeing her being more authoritative and more assertive with Louise and with Herbie. It brought out a really nice colour in her and she found some different things in her Rose. Next up was Rebeca Lock. Rebeca Lock is just such a queen. You know, she was in the original West End cast of Heathers. She's currently touring in School of Rock. She's been in Mary Poppins. She's been all over the dang place. She has had an incredible career and she has such a fantastic voice. She got maybe my least favourite song in the show just because it's not particularly interesting. She sang You'll Never Get Away From Me. Rebeca Lock manages to make my least favourite song in the show the most epic sounding thing. The way she just absolutely let rip on Just Try and You're Gonna See. It was just echoing and reverberating throughout the entire auditorium, and just the pipes that woman has were insane. She was a little bit cold when she came in and I kind of wanted more Rebeca Lock warmth from her. And the thing about Rose and Gypsy is that she is abrasive, but she also has this charm. So I'm really glad she got to do the next scene when they were auditioning and she comes in and like picks something up that gets dropped, and then she does this at the side and she says it's a train, and it was just really funny just being this crazy show mother with this crazy energy. It was a fantastic choice for her. Then it was time to end the first act, and this is the first Rose that I guessed would be doing this part, because if you have this lineup, if you have Broadway's Keala Settle, you're gonna get her to sing Everything's Coming Up Roses. Like, that's just a no-brainer that you would give her that song. And so I was fully prepared for her to just annihilate me with this vocal performance, because what a voice that woman has. Absolutely insane. Now, it's very easy to play Rose very big. You know, it's Ethel Merman, it's Patti LuPone. Back of the auditorium, some people, everything's coming up roses. So I was fascinated by how small she played this scene, because it's this bubbling rage that she has when she finds out what's happened right before the end of the first act, and it's this really important turning point for the character. And this lyric has a beautiful double meaning where everything's coming up roses both means everything's going to be great, whether you want it to be or not, but also everything's coming up roses because it's about her, it's about what she wants, and everything is going her way. She is determined to make that happen. So Keala Settle plays this scene just simmering with rage rather than burning with this obvious passion. She is just furious beneath the surface and has just been punched in the gut with this revelation, and then it just boils over into this incredible musical performance that ends Act 1 so spectacularly. Sally Ann Triplett, the wonderful Sally Ann Triplett, who I recently got to see in Taboo in concert, who was fantastic and still has such a phenomenal voice. And it's not just the power and the range of her voice, which she has in spades, it's the passion that she sings with is just otherworldly. So she came in the second act, and my favourite thing about her was the physicality that she had, where she had this terrible sort of hunchback-like posture as she's running around the stage. It was the perfect physicality for Rose, and this was another one where I'm now just desperate to see her do an entire production, because she had such an interesting and unique grasp on the characterization. And she perfectly got those two things, where she is this incredibly abrasive, really contemptible character with some of the things that she got to do in her scenes, but she also had that charm where she connects with those characters and she connects with an audience, and she had maybe my favourite chemistry with Laura Pitt-Pulford as Louise and with Christopher Howell as Herbie. It was completely believable that the three of them were this sort of odd family. She again has this turning point moment that is so beautiful to watch and so rich for an actress to get to play and unpick, because she once again backs down and accepts defeat and that everything is going to end, and then she just overhears something and it flips the switch in her brain again, and she once again just feels this little spark of possibility. It's a really harrowing scene where you think they're about to leave and she's about to go and get married and just accept sort of domestic peace, and she just can't help herself be attracted to the possibility of limelight and stardom and opportunity for one of her daughters and herself by proxy. And the way she played that scene was just fascinating. And then next up after that was Tracie Bennett. Now, Tracie Bennett got entrance applause when she came in. She is iconic. She's an Olivier Award-winning actress. She's played some terrific roles on stage. Now, she's perhaps most acclaimed theatrically for having played Judy Garland in End of the Rainbow. You definitely see that similarity in Rose that you did with Judy Garland. And especially at this point in the show, she has that same sort of frenzied desperation where she's clinging to something that she knows she's already lost. She was wonderful in her scene with Laura Pitt-Pulford, where she's coming in as the mother to someone who has now found success in their own right and really no longer needs her. And so the way that she would try and soften herself to appeal to Louise, but then become frustrated and rise again into fits of anger, beautifully directed, beautifully performed. They went a little bit left field at one point. There were a couple of lines that got lost and they ended up ad-libbing a couple new things into the script, but then being the fantastic actresses they are, they brought it back, they recovered just in time for her to come out and perform Rose's Turn. Now, this is the defining moment of the show. It's the 11 o'clock number. It is a gift to any actress because the journey she goes on, even in this song where she comes out defiant and still confident and determined in her resolve, and then we just witness her break utterly in the performance of this song. What I loved about Tracie Bennett is you forget how spry she is. She was kicking her legs up and down, and the way she moves across the stage, she is such a dancer. That's not something you see in a lot of Roses because it's usually cast as an older actress. You don't normally see them be quite as athletic with their performance of Rose's Turn, and her acting choices are always fantastic. She just puts such passion and such heart and such soulfulness into her performances. You know, it's a gritty and a gravelly vocal that she delivers, but there's just so much rawness and truth in it. She got a huge reception after she performed Rose's Turn, and the little scene that she did on the end with Laura Pitt-Pulford was very cute as well. So I really enjoyed all of them. I was struck afterwards at how well cast each section was, because you absolutely could have just found 7 actresses who were all good at playing sort of the same aspect of the character, but they each brought something unique and they each brought a different part of this very grand, very sort of operatic and dramatic woman's personality to the different moments they had, and you sort of saw her soften and then harden again through moments of the show. I'm desperately hoping to get to see a full production of Gypsy again soon, maybe with one of these 7 actresses. I have my choices for who I would most like to see in a full production, and hopefully this concert may also be remounted again, either with the same 7 actresses or with 7 brand new actresses who can bring something else to the role. It's such a fantastic idea for a concert, and it allows you to have such stars who can come in for a sort of more limited rehearsal time but get to share this incredible role that I'm just desperate to see so many actresses play, because it's such a gift in the world of musical theatre. And also there was something quite camp about seeing them all bow at the end in red dresses like it was a strange community theatre production of Annie. Like that was great. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my Stagey YouTube channel for plenty more content coming very soon. Also, if you want to support me as a Stagey content creator and gain access to a bunch of exclusive photo and video content, head over to patreon.com/Mickey Jo Theatre. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Jo Theatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!